letters is SK Telecom T1 with Impact in the top lane, Bengi in jungle, Faker in mid. There's the, Piglet on AD carry, and Pumandu on support.
So, these guys met last time. It was a pretty close run match. But it was SK Telecom that came out on top. They turned it around in that mid game, and that is really their strong point once they turn that game around. What is TSM going to do differently in this match to try and turn things around?
They've got to basically remove those little mistakes they keep making. This is actually kind of what separates the really top teams from the almost there, like the S tier from the A tier, is that obviously these guys are good enough. We've seen Dyrus win lanes against people as good as Impact. We saw Reginald hold up against Faker, right? Like, who thought that was actually going to happen coming into that in a straight-up 1v1? So that skill individually is there, and the strategic skill is there. It's SKT makes way less mistakes than TSM. If TSM gets that good run where they make right choices, they're fine.
So the bans coming through thick and fast. Caitlyn being taken away as the first ban by TSM, along with Orianna, Vi, and Shen taken away. So no Zed-Vi combos like TSM ran the first time around, and maybe that was what they were looking towards, which has already been countered. You can see the fact that Zed is yet to be taken away. Ari also available, so one of those is about to get through this ban phase.
And the thing is, last time these guys played, SKT first picked Ari the second it came through, and Reggie played Gragas. This time around, you know Ari or Zed are going to come through, both of these champions that Reggie likes. And SKT basically gets to say, look, do we give them one? Do we choose which one do we give them? Do we pick a matchup somewhere else?
Ooh.
And for the second time, they banned Fiddlesticks, so they give Reggie Zed here. He's going to lock that in. Of course he will.
So, Reggie went for Zed. Renekton being thought of here, actually, by impacting that top lane. Went with Singed the last number of times, and Corki may be going to come out. Obviously, they've no reason to go for Ari now because they feel it's going to be safe.
Exactly. There's no reason to really rush this. Now, when you were Fnatic, Soaz got to run it, but although Dyrus has been growing his champion pool, he's been playing some Karthus recently, for example, maybe he learned Zed as well, and suddenly TSM goes, surprise, we're going to play Ari Zed together. I just think it's very unlikely. So you're right, SKT gets to hold back, play a very, very safe bottom lane. This does, however, give Xpecial Thresh whenever he wants it, and that is a scary thing, because now you're SK2, who relies on pick comps, and you've given TSM the ability to run a pick comp.
Yep, you have gone with Sona before, remember, of course, but Corki coming in there. What are we expecting Wild Turtle to go with? Because we've often seen him on Caitlyn. Hell, I seem to recall that was his first Pentakill champion, Caitlyn, yes, back in the North American LCS, which I obviously had the privilege to call, but what are we expecting to come out from the AD carry support? You've already talked about Thresh. Do we think something different is going to come out? Yeah. Is it going to be the Rat?
Twitch is actually a very good call here, because it does a number of things for these guys. So first off, depending on how well equipped your opponents are, Twitch actually makes for a very good split pusher, because you can stealth and get out of there. And if they have an Oracles or Pink Ward, then it's harder and whatnot. But because Thresh is still available there, because Thresh can still be locked in for Xpecial, Twitch has an escape suddenly.
Ooh, well.
Yeah, we saw this last time. Maybe it's going to happen. Maybe he goes Ari.
Yep.
So we'll talk about Twitch for a second, though, because now with the Thresh Lantern, he has an escape tool here. And so despite Twitch being an unsafe AD carry, he's not Corki or Ez or whatever, he can put out crazy damage but also get out of fights. And so he has now he's sort of this glue for the team fights, is that TSM can play picks, can use Elise and Zed, but they can group together and rely on Wild Turtle as well.
Well, of course, using that Lee Sin for Bengi, as our champion is used to. We've already seen Riven, Faker already earlier on. So what are we going to see? Are TSM going to pull a rabbit out the hat? Are they going to pull something different out? Will it actually be Dyrus on that Zed? Will Ari suddenly make appearance? Annie being hovered over there briefly. Karthus.
Yeah, and
Dyrus.
Yes, and this is... Oh!
There is Annie.
Oh,
again, 2 games running.
That's interesting. I did not expect the one to come through here. I was talking about Thresh before. That's actually really interesting, because now TSM have turned their composition around. So it started out saying, you expect us to go for Thresh, we've got Zed and Elise, look at all these things we're going to do and we can keep Twitch alive. Now TSM are like, yo dog, we're going to go for 5v5s. And with Elise, she can tower dive very, very well. We actually heard the interview from Bicamelo saying, yeah, when you bring out support Annie, it's really, really good. Monte Cristo talked about the 3v1 dives in mid lane, and Elise can make that happen, plus the Annie can make that happen, and you've got a 5v5 team. You've got Karthus, Twitch, Annie, all this area of effect damage is going to make it really hard for SKT to fight a real 5-on-5.
And that's, you think of the damage that the position is coming from. Where do you focus? Because you've got a Karthus in there putting Defile down layways. You've got a Twitch, which you normally ordinarily focus. Meanwhile, the Zed's running wild around you. Are we going to see SK Telecom locking in Jax the first time of this tournament?
Yes, and that is important. That is a pick that these guys must run right now. Jax is one of the best counters in the game, potentially the best counter in the game, to a champion like Twitch who must auto-attack you and doesn't get away himself. Jax turns on the dodge, jumps on his face, and he will solo Wild Turtle. Wild Turtle will have a terrible time in team fights, in addition to the fact that no one's going to stop Impact from split pushing by himself. So SKT can go rely on Impact in team fights, and they can rely on him in the mid to late game as well as a side lane split pusher. And just to add more menace to that, he's going to fight a Karthus in a 1v1 who has no way of punishing him.
And let's not forget, obviously, Jax, with that Trinity Force coming in, will be very strong. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we're waiting for these two teams to spawn, let's see who the viewers think is going to walk away with this one. According to Lolly Sports, well, it's very close, ladies and gentlemen. 57% of you think that SKTT won. The crowd is not with TSM. Well, the crowd here is definitely with TSM, that's for sure. But you guys at home, you have confidence in the Koreans.
Yeah, and they did it last time, and the vote margin makes a lot of sense, because despite all the hype coming into it and how easy it was to say, I mean, yeah, TSM, but they never beat a Korean, and how all the hype was there behind SKT, that last game spoke volumes. TSM are like right there. You make one or two less mistakes and you're right there to pick up the win. The first ever Korean win for TSM. There's a real chance. This is now their playoff hopes. They've got to win this one.
Well, a 0 for 15, is it now?
Yeah.
This could be the first time. Bayleave, I believe, is the term that a lot of people have been using. We'll see whether it works out for them. TSM, Reggie, just talking to him beforehand alongside Double Lift. They know the pressure. They know they have to win this game, potentially out of the tournament. It is all on that team you can hear in the background. TSM as the blue team coming into this one with all the pressure of the North American supporters on their backs. Meanwhile, SK Telecom, they've already won one today. They are feeling pretty confident coming into this game.
Hold on. TSM runner brush and Faker's nearby.
All right,
his team checked for it.
He's not going to find out. Piglet does take some damage from that early invade, though. And as it stands, they may continue pushing on here. SK Telecom getting in towards TSM jungle. Dyrus is just off to the side. He's in a dangerous, dangerous position here. Is anyone going to lock in towards him? No exhaust use. Counter-strike may be close enough. Slow was there. But instead he turns around, puts some layways back on Impact.
And there's pink ward control now for SKT. And I'm trying to think if TSM actually saw Mondu run around there, because they could have known that he had a pink ward and then saw him again without a pink ward and inferred that there was vision control over that buff. TSM can play around that fact. They could sweep the ward out or simply make an invade of their own somewhere else. And we can see, actually, still a lot of teams close together at this level 1.
Very tense stuff here. SK Telecom trying to get that ward control. Mandu is the man forward at the moment. And even now, you can see SK Telecom, they are unsure of the risk, backing out. They did get that ward down at the red buff. And it seems that everybody is safe to back away from this one. Piglet is making his way down this river. And yeah, he's wisely getting over to the far edge of this time around. Yeah,
TSM actually, I'm trying to think if they would actually spot the champions coming through. There's not enough vision there, so they don't, TSM don't guaranteed know where SKT's dual lane is going. TSM are basically locked into the lane assignments right here.
So Mandu does put that ward in river, backs away. Red buff will be going across to the old one. Red buff has gone across to Bengi, meanwhile, in that top lane with a little bit of help from Impact. So, lanes will be standard. We've already seen the mid lane. Faker on Riven up against a Zed. That was for Nuke Duck last time around. This time it is Reginald for TSM. We'll see how that develops. But right now, there's a gank potentially on this top.
Dyrus does not know this is happening. Bengi has this for free.
Dyrus has got flash available along with exhaust, and well, he's feeling the pressure. The crowd are cheering him. He's trying to get away. He gets caught with the counter strike after the flash. Exhaust goes down, but that will be first blood for Bengi.
Well played by Impact. The flash stun catches Dyrus just in time. Oddman with a smart move does grab his own blue in time, but I don't think he can necessarily get to the other side of the map and get SKT's blue. So that gank was for pretty much no cost here.
Absolutely free kill in that top lane. Karthus, of course, very weak level 1, which is why they made full attempt on that one. Impact, of course, did use that flash ignite as well, so a lot of summoner spells burn both sides, but more importantly, first blood and that big chunk of change going towards SK Telecom. Odd1 looking towards this mid lane, seeing if he can create any opportunities for Reginald on Faker.
Odd1's not going to be around there just yet. This lane does have kill potential, though. Twitch has high damage, Annie has high damage, and Sona does not have any escape tools. It's not hard for TSM to force that bottom lane down. We've seen it work before. But on the other side, you talked about the Odd1. What's important here is Bengi, because he got first blood. He could rush Boots of Mobility. He could rush a Doran's Blade for more damage with his ganks. He could do a lot of things. And last time TSM did well because, or last time actually SKT, generally speaking, had some early game deficits, but with an early game lead this time, life will be difficult for TSM.
Bengi already going aggressive, round up the golems already, going to take those away, potentially pay a visit to the bottom lane. He's got the double buff still on him. Meanwhile, we see the Odd1 coming around this mid lane, throws out the cocoon, flash from Faker used.
Yep, and we can look at the mid lane and look that Reginald is basically tying Faker right now. There are some minions still for Faker to kill, but that matchup, by being a counter gank, is still close. But here's Bengi finding the Odd1.
His spider senses were tingling. He catches on towards Bengi.
He's not in range for Q.
Hasn't put more damage down. The rest of the team, look, coming around the bottom. Spec Special was coming up there. Didn't have stun available, but does force the flash from Bengi.
Special was too many spells away for having a stun up there. He'd been using his spells in the lane already, but that was all kinds of crazy. The stun landed and Dragon ran too far away for the second part of Q to be used by Bengi. That could have been close to a kill, because remember that Bengi had to use his flash to get away there.
So, Faker back in his mid lane. Has got a CS advantage building up over Reginald, and the Odd1 once again paying visit. This time he's deeper in the lane. Remember, flash was used before. See, Odd1 tries to close that gap. Not enough. Dyrus, meanwhile, in the top lane, puts that wall of pain down. It is going to be enough to keep Impact away, but he is low on health.
Dyrus is only down to one potion. No, sorry, he actually has 3 potions left. So Dyrus is spending a lot of money to sustain back up in this lane. But with that expenditure, he is keeping up in minion kills. Both these champions in the top lane are very good late game scaling champions. Both of them will do very, very well to carry a team fight. So we're going to kind of have to keep track of what happens there, because Dyrus has a global whilst Impact has to run around to help his team.
Faker's positioning on those dives from Riven has been spot on so far, not drawing aggro from that turret. Now he's going to go back. We'll see what he comes out with. Both mid laners started out with that Doran's shield. I think this time around we're going to see something a little bit more aggressive. He hasn't gone back, he cancelled it actually. But this top lane, Impact, obviously with that kill assist he got earlier on, has been controlling Dyrus pretty heavily. It is a strong lane, and Jax, you know, if left to farm alone, could be deadly. Odd1 though, trying to set up the gank here with Dyrus, but he's so tight to that turret. So many times we've said, don't dive on towards a Jax. Wall of Pain catches on towards him. It's not going to be enough damage, I don't feel, from TSM. And that will be Impact backing away, but he's low on that turret.
They get a lot of pressure on this, which is pretty important. Dragon is not yet on the table, but as soon as Reggie hits 6, he's likely going to look to push Faker out of lane. He's to level 6 now, actually, so when Faker comes back, we might see Odd1 get his smite cooldown, roam back to the bottom, and look for a play to shove Faker out of lane, and then go for a Dragon. Reggie's picked up pink wards to help secure this.
Reggie's gone full aggressive. You see the 2 longswords, but a Doran's Blade and a longsword for Faker instead. So he's feeling he needs that little bit more hit points. Probably expecting that from Reginald, actually. Meanwhile, Reginald is roaming. There's no wards in this bottom river area.
And you're not really seeing SKT react to this one. Reggie might get in for this one and pick up a kill.
Piglet and Mandu. Mandu hasn't hit level 6 yet. Crescendo not available. We do see the aggression. Oh, he's backing away. Does he feel it? Special flashes. Tibbers goes down. He's going to be stunned. No, it's not Tibbers. I tell a lie. It's just the straight flames. But they all backed away, and that was a little too aggressive. You know, we heard Crepo talking about the aggressive plays, just giving away that tell.
That was really awkward by TSM. Reggie had already left that brush, started running back to the mid lane when Special went in. SKT had already spidey sensed that Reggie left lane and said, hold on, guys, he hasn't been back to lane in a really long time. They played it safe. Reggie left, and then Special went in.
Straight away. Before that level 6, this while Piglet going aggressive in that bottom as well, using that Valkyrie cross. Reginald Just being pushed away by Faker. And again, perfect positioning just outside that tower range. But look at Bengi, so deep, so aggressive, countering all the time on the odd one. This time he may try and steal away that blue buff. Smite's not available for him, and I think he's just realized that the odd one is close by.
And look at the amount of respect he just gave there. Even though they're both level 5, he's got teammates nearby, Bengi doesn't go for that just because he realized he might get caught out. Neither has Smite. Maybe they just go for it anyway.
They may well do. Faker's coming around the side. Level 6 just hit by Dyrus, but again, that is a blue buff steal. Dyrus actually only just hit 6, by the way. Impact already at 7 before he got there.
And look how big that minion kill lead is now spreading. 18 minions for the top laner for SKT. So all those plans that TSM had aren't really working out right now. Impact is constantly shoving. If his team wanted to actually rush Dragon, he could do that by running down the map.
Yeah, Piglet pulling up a bit of a CS lead as well in that bottom, and you can see it's already developed to nearly 20 CS. We did see Wild Turtle, of course, missing out on a wave, which would counter for at least 6 of those. Piglet, they are holding that lane. They are not backing away. Dyrus, in the meantime, is going to have Faker knocking on his back door. He's coming straight in there, uses the exhaust on Impact, but it's not going to be enough. Hasn't got the damage down on Impact. Is the tower damage going to come down? It just might do it. Requiem's going to come down. Yes, he does. Oh. Gets the double down the bottom. Goes down in there. Piglet's also going to go down. A Wild Turtle picks it up, and TSM suddenly turn it 3-on-1.
Such a beautiful play by TSM. The crowd backing them for that. And of course, now with the numbers lead, yes, we will take a Dragon. TSM happy to do that one. This puts them in a very close game right here.
Holy cow, where did that come from? Faker goes to the top. He tries to work on that turret. He should take it down. But meanwhile, TSM, they're looking to try and take advantage. They had their blue stolen. They're seeing if they can do the same.
And they've got control over it. The Abba did not have to use Smite at all, so he used it for the blue buff to secure it. But of course, SKT, Faker, knowing he had control, doesn't actually stay for that top lane turret. He would take too much damage for it. It's actually too much of a risk to go for it. SKT aren't taking massive risks. They're just getting fights turned around on them.
So let's check out this fight. This was the bottom lane. Expect the Dyrus ulti to come in any second.
And look at the stealth from Wild Turtle. It actually de-aggroes and lets him come back in late onto Piglet. And just having Tibbers just means so much in that.
And that crescendo from Mandu missed.
Oh, it did.
That crescendo missed on X Special. Just why you got that stun lock in there. So, well, Dyrus again getting jumped on. It's a big difference between these two. There was last time, but now that Catalyst has been picked up by Dyrus, he's feeling a little bit more confident, got a bit more hit points, but Impact still in control of this lane, I feel.
Yeah, I like actually that Dyrus went for double Doran's Ring instead of Tear. It gives him enough health to survive some of this burst, but Bengi is right there, likely to still kill him when the lane pushes down.
And that turret's got no health left on it. The moment that wave comes in, Dyrus has to try and keep that wave cleared as much as possible. Impact is low, though. If he goes for this one, he may actually risk his own health. There's no exhaust. Now you're going to see him. That's a good kick in. Dyrus is dead.
He is going to go down. He's likely to not land the damage on Impact. In fact, just goes for the minions like that. Dyrus making sure to get at least something and try to protect his lane.
Well, that will be Impact getting away from this one. The odd one, he's going to come up this way and just protect that turret. He's going to skitter on in there with the rest of his spiders. He should be safe to defend this one and puts a lot of pressure down on towards him. Uses that smite to make sure he does clear it out. So, let's take stock of the situation, Freak. How are the lanes developing? Because still, the gold is just 300 between the two.
Yeah, so okay, the game is close. Wild Turtle had an early deficit against SKT, but he's starting to pull back. The early pushing has been turned around, and Wild Turtle's on his way towards a Blade of the Ruined King, which will actually allow him to survive team fights against Impact as well. You can see the scoreboard for yourselves. Minion farm across the board is going better for SKT. It's the fact that TSM are controlling some globals a bit better that's keeping them in this. It kind of looks like TSM would rather end the laning phase because none of those lanes are going well for them.
She was seeing the odd one sticking around in this lane for a little bit. Dyrus now returning to them. Requiem will be available shortly. And there he is back in towards that lane. Needs to keep that farm going on. Reginald putting some pressure down, but Faker actually turning him down. A lot of damage. Reginald goes aggressive, pushes the ultimate. Gonna get caught out. Faker gets him down.
That was unfortunate. Reggie thought he was about to get jumped on. He actually expected to juke a spell with his ulti. Unfortunately, though, this is not good for Odd One.
The Odd One realizes he's in the wrong situation. Bengi trying to get around to him. Has got his ultimate available if he can get the other side. And the Odd One skitters away and gets away. Dyrus has come down to join the party, but it's not going to happen. There's no party for you, Dyrus.
Yeah, it's a nice idea to roam down to help your teammates. We actually see a lot of the top teams pull a top laner down to roam. The Chinese teams especially will pull them down for ganks. But at the end of the day, all Darius is really doing is holding a turret and losing his own at the top lane. So kind of too little too late. Unfortunately, couldn't really help his team.
Yeah, that will be Impact taken away, and that will be the first turret of the game that will drop in. It's SK Telecom once again starting to get that little bit of control that we've seen so often already.
And Darius just has a long way to go until he's really useful in this game. He'll look for a gank with Odd One, but I don't see Jax getting chased down here.
No, he's already backing away from that one. Knew what was coming. Just trots on away. Wild Turtle taking away these golems in this bottom lane. Has fell a tiny little bit behind Peglet in terms of CS, but building different items. Obviously, Wild Turtle we do see going towards that Blade of the Rune King. Piglet, of course, going for that Trinity Force.
Yeah, so what's going to happen here as the game progresses is in 2 minutes we'll have a dragon fight, or at least teams starting to take ward control for it. The early mid-game has gone SKT's way. They've gotten better ward control, they've gotten better ganks, and that's going to make life very difficult for TSM. Yeah, Reggie's not going to get much out of that one. But ultimately, because lanes have been winning, because SKT are going to hit item thresholds sooner, SKT get to control the next few minutes of this game unless TSM make a crazy move.
They found Bengi. Bengi in the jungle. He's going to walk straight in towards Xpecial, who has that stun available. Will he go for it? Yes, he does use that stun. Odd One manages to get the cocoon down as well. There's just no damage to back it up because Wild Turtle wasn't close enough.
And Piglet and Mandu were well in position. If Wild Turtle went up, he get caught by a crescendo and exploded. Turtle needs this turret to stay alive. And until Xpecial charges his stun back up onto Annie, he won't do much.
Impact diving on towards Darius in this top lane. Exhaust was used already from Darius. He's keeping that late waste down and the tower damage. And Impact, though, is starting to feel very, very confident in this lane.
Yeah, he's able to just like jump in there and burn summoner spells from Darius and say, all right, it's exhaust. I'll show up again the next 4 minutes and you won't be able to stop me.
He's sticking around. Darius has realized he can't back away as well. He's starting to suffer for that mana as well. Needs to get that Rod of Ages completed as soon as possible, which is what he's hoping to go for. Wild Turtle continues to keep that farm. Piglet's been pushing that lane fairly heavily. And actually the ward control from SKT was so strong earlier on. There was a lot of pink wards on the map, but as it now, they have all timed out. So we'll see where they lay out that carpet of surveillance once again.
And it's really worth pointing out how well SKT, especially Mandu, are actually warding that bottom lane because they know Annie Twitch Elise has so much kill potential, and yet that gank has never actually happened. It was a misplayed 2v2 that had SKT die, but despite the fact that Corki and Sona are pushing over and over and over again, Mandu has kept that team safe with ward coverage and never allowed Odd One to get in.
This time around, Dragon spawns. TSM took it last time, remember, after the great plays. This time around, Bengi is close by. The rest of SK Telecom closing in. Impact already running down from that top lane. He may be too late. TSM are going to start this one off soon. Darius is not there.
This is a huge risk. I don't think this goes well for TSM. Impact's already coming down, and SKT are stronger right now.
They are stronger, but instead they may choose to go for that global objective in their mid lane. They're going to come in. Crescendo does land. Piglet's taken very low from this one. The ultimate from the Reginald, not quite enough to take him down, but he's forced out of the fight.
Requiem where? There it is. And
boom! There we go. Darius picks up the kill. Impact tried to get that counter-strike down. Meanwhile, TSM, they're taking away the second dragon of the game in the mid.
Well, color me wrong. They dove in hard. They used the Zed Elise Twitch part of that comp as a pick and just all-in Piglet. SKT weren't actually ready to fight that, and TSM got a free kill, and off that kill managed to take Dragon. That's incredibly flexible by that TSM lineup. The first half of that lets you get individual kills, and they can still fall back in team fights. So watch this. Piglet just gets straight up jumped on, and it's the Requiem at the end of the day. They know they don't have to overcommit. They know Requiem is still there, and it's just Darius being safe enough to guarantee the kill happens. But watch this jump in. He goes for the flash and just misses it. Just misses the stun. Impact nearly saves his teammate.
So close, but it was a flash. Tibbers once again from Xpecial that started all that off. They weren't quite ready for the reactions to get away from this one. Cocoon on Impact. Impact's been pushing his top lane the entire time. Almost got that Trinity Force complete, but Darius picking up those kills has helped him out. You can see he's got that Rod of Ages and Sorcerer's Boots completed now.
And I want to compare the individual gold straight up, because Darius is 5,500 to Impact's 5,400. There's actually a small lead for Darius, despite getting honestly pretty ripped on in his lane. But we talked about the global in that top lane. Impact has to run down, whereas Darius presses R. That has given a lot of help to TSM. And to think to the TSM lineup, they've been running globals since forever. They're so comfortable with a Karthus running around, not running around as the case may be, and making plays.
And we can see the gold. You can see it's just 100 gold disparity, but actually there's a big swing because Reginald's nearly 1,000 gold behind Faker now. Meanwhile, the two bottom lanes, Wild Turtle and Special, they've got a 500 gold lead over their counterparts, Piglet and Mandu. So we'll see how that works out. Faker goes aggressive on towards Dyrus, and Dyrus quickly responds with that Wall of Pain.
But unfortunately for Dyrus, the cooldown difference is massive between Exhaust and the Blades. So that's still going to be a window that Dyrus has to be afraid of. In about a minute and a half, Faker can just re-engage.
Reginald trying to be sneaky, but he's actually stood right on top of a ward, so we do see Bengi and Faker sticking around here, maybe going to try and create something. I don't think they're going to go for Dyrus just yet, because they know the Odd One and Reginald are just off waiting in the wings.
They are. This is kind of the thing, is TSM, they've got enough presence of mind, and they've actually started to wrest ward control back as well from their past few kills. TSM are able to play a bit more confidently. They just got to worry about getting outnumbered here on this blue buff.
This is all about the blue buff fight now. Dyrus needs this blue buff, honestly. Needs to keep that cooldown there, and the rest of SK Telecom are close by. There's a two-man down the bottom, so it is going to be a straight-up 3v3, and honestly, this is all melee for SK Telecom. TSM may have an edge here.
They do, I think. Actually, they're a little bit stronger right now. And this is so difficult. Impact goes in, but it's a little aggressive by him.
The Cocoon goes out there. There's a lot of aggression on towards Impact. He's taken low. The counter-strike working out, but it is Impact. Will he go down? No, he won't. The Odd One will get the kill in the end. It's a 1-for-1. The Odd One tries to get away. Bengi comes in, tries to flash in there, and not quite going to catch on. A 1-for-1, but it was a tight one.
That's not too bad of a trade, but of course this gives SKT control over this top lane turret. Dyrus comes in to help, but this might be a turret kill.
He doesn't have the exhaust, remember, he's already used it. Faker knows that, tries to go aggressive, double flash on towards him. He's going aggressive, he's going in towards the inhib. He's 2 towers deep trying to get the kill, and now he's going to get taken low. Requiem's not going to be enough to finish him off.
And it's going to be them going back in for the Odd One.
Back in the Odd One, he's taken low, has to repel away. The tower hit's coming in towards Bengi. Dyrus comes back in, this could be a double. Faker's going to give the tower damage down. Requiem standing there, will he come out? He's got it available.
Is it going to be enough?
Is it going to be enough? Not for one, but he will get Bengi.
That is too aggressive by SKT. Overconfidence has been kind of the word of the day for these guys. Faker gave up first blood, face checking a brush. He said, yeah, I really got to check that. I'm playing silly. And then dives way too deep there and baits his teammate, giving Dyrus another kill. And this just freed up the map now for TSM. This is not good from SKT.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. SKT took the inner turret on the top lane during that play.
Sure.
That's a big thing straight there. But you saw TSM, they took their first turret of the game along that bottom. 1.5 minutes to Dragon. I feel we're going to have another tussle.
But the thing is, even though SKT are trading objectives, I think trading objectives is what TSM wants. TSM's late game is better than SKT's. All right, Jack's the nightmare, that's fine. But SKT's lineup is entirely physical damage. It is not hard for these guys to build a Randuin's Omen or something and say, okay, we're going to ignore you now, BRB being better scalers. Whereas TSM have a lot of physical damage, they've got a lot of magic damage, and Wild Turtle, heck, even has true damage for what it's worth. I really feel like TSM, by playing a more controlled game and not face check random brushes, will just kind of automatically build advantage here that SKT has to work around.
They may have missed it back there, but I think when the Odd One went in aggressive towards the end, he went back and got Home Guard on his Sorcerer's Boots, just to make sure he could make that play.
Yeah, I think that was a really intelligent play. I've seen, actually, every once in a while I've seen moves like this. I know Vulcan in the regular season had one where they, like, aced the enemy team, all recalled, bought Home Guard, and rushed Baron, and it was like the sexiest Home Guard buy I'd ever seen in a competitive, because it let them get Baron 8 seconds faster than they would have otherwise. It was a really great play. SKT, though, you look at them, and they're still playing the mid-game vision control game. They're still trying. Problem is, Odd and Special are extremely dangerous.
Ooh, Special. Danger, danger. Is he with that Oracle? 22 minutes gone. Just 100 gold tipping between these two teams right now. This is the closest it has certainly been between these teams. Special is clearing out those wards. SK Telecom are just off at the side. TSM are here in a 4-man position. Wild Turtle's not with them right now. And SK Telecom are going to go all 5. They're going in, jumping on towards Dyrus. He's in all sorts of trouble. Remember, Requiem is down. That Defile's not doing enough damage. TSM are getting wrecked here. We see one going down. It was X Special. The odd one has to back away from this one. Reggie is in trouble. He's running for his life, but it's going to be a double for Impact and a 3-4-0.
That's a 5v4 team, but here comes Wild Turtle.
Spray and pray going down, but it's not going to be enough. He dodges the counter-strike. That's going to be one kill. Impact goes down. Mandu's going to be next. Can he get on towards him? No. He's going across wards. He's visible, but he's going to get away. It's a double kill with the poison tick. Now they're going for another. This team, meanwhile, in the mid lane, Wild Turtle's pushing the tower. Oh, they're going to get on towards him. Piglet's going to turn this one back around. The Repel comes out, but it's only a matter of time. He's not got enough. Piglet picks up the kill.
Not a great move there. Wild Turtle looked for a pick on the Bengi. Bengi got out of this one. So the Turtle gets a little bit of damage here. Good dodge by Bengi. I feel like he'll live.
Dodges out of the Sonic Wave. Bengi taking a lot of damage as well. Wild Turtle is certainly putting a lot of hurt down on SK Telecom.
And if it weren't for the fact that that teamfight was 4v5, that would have been a TSM teamfight victory. And that was the problem. That is the SKT mid-game rotations and mid-game decision-making that tends to make them win games. They found a 5v4 and they jumped immediately onto it.
And remember, Requiem was not available in that fight. That could have been a big difference as well. It was used earlier on, and it is available now. So, still very, very tight. That Dragon is up. There's a pink ward from SK Telecom in the river. There's a bunch of wards from TSM in that river. But as it yet, neither team fancies going for it. You can see Dyrus, he wants to shove this bottom lane out. We see the mid lane, both trying to shove that lane. TSM, they may just try and focus that mid lane turret because Wild Turtle took that very low there.
But TSM's gonna want to wait about 20 seconds before they fight a real team fight, because spray and pray is incredibly important for a team fight. If Twitch attacks from normal attack range, Faker and Impact will reach him. But if he attacks from spray and pray range, he's out of reach, and that's a difficulty. At the same time, 10 seconds after spray and pray comes up, Crescendo comes up. So pretty soon, SKT is also on full power.
TSM have that full power. All ultimates now available. Tibber's also just back up there, and you can see they're already trying to push in. We've seen Piglet down that bottom lane. He's trying to push in, try and keep that wave back on towards that turret that Dyrus has already shoved on. Both of these teams, this really is teetering on the edge. This could be the team fight that turns in.
And what we just didn't see right there was the fact that TSM has no good hard engage. Corki was spotted bottom. TSM are the stronger 5v5 team, and if they had the ability to, could have dove that mid turret right there and just taken no prisoners. But the problem is, Elise lands a cocoon? Like, that's not the best real engage without Flash being up for Tibbers here for Special.
Yeah, indeed. That seems to be their main engage point. Pink ward goes down. Bengi with that Oracle is going to go for it here. They're going to start the Dragon off. This would be SK Telecom's first one. Wall of Pain goes in there. That is going to be the Dragon. Impact picks it up. Now they're going to engage. Impact getting caught out. Getting that cocoon. But, well, SK Telecom, could back away from it, but instead they're going to choose to pursue. They don't really get a lot of damage on TSM. They're going to use positional differences here and try and push in towards it. TSM backing out there. Catching the stun used out there. That's not a good use. Impact may well jump on him. Counter-Strike's going to go down. X Special gets locked up. He goes down. Spray and pray coming across, but the Crescendo's going to work out. Reginald does get in. He gets Faker down. That's going to be another one. We see another support dropping on the back there. Wild Turn's getting away. The Ignite will finish him off. Impact will pick up the kill. It's a 3-for-2 to SK Telecom.
TSM were so afraid to start that fight, they didn't get a good AoE stun from Annie. She stunned only a single target. SKT can keep pushing in.
They're going to take down the middle turret. They could keep on pushing for that inner one as well, because they have their AD carry of Piglet and Impact in there, both with those Trinity forces. That turret is just going to tumble.
There's so much damage still available for this lineup right here. Dyrus also had run out of mana by the end of that one, so he's trying to regen back up and show up for his team. But SKT, this is one thing they are very good at, is once they win a fight, they take a lot of objectives for it as well. So suddenly 4,000 gold puts SKT up right here, and it's their decisiveness to say, we'll go for Dragon. We think we can get it before you engage. It worked out there, and now with the gold lead, they can get a lot of vision control here.
It just seemed that TSM just didn't want to pull the trigger.
No.
They just weren't quite sure. They kept backing away, and SK Telecom sensed it. They smelt blood and just went straight for the jugular.
I'm surprised too, because that SKT lineup was grouped up fighting against the Dragon. TSM go for a chance Baron, but the team's going to recollect soon.
Piglet was down the bottom. That's what they saw, and now TSM thought about going for it. They realized they're not in that strong position. The fact that Pumandu managed to put that ward just over the wall the second they started it, they seemed to sense it.
That was pretty fortunate here. Of course, Bengi also has a Sight Stone. That was actually his first buy right here, was Machete, Sight Stone, and Boots 1. And he's been making plays and also helping to get ward control with that Sight Stone. It's been a big deal for these guys. to be honest, with very few exceptions, SKT has never been surprised by a TSM move. They've been in control here, and they've actually chosen some very smart fights here, the Korean team.
So, let's have a look at the items then, because these two teams have took themselves a bit of a step back from this team fights. They're realizing dangerous situations have developed. The AD carriers, they have itemized very differently. We're seeing from Wild Turtle, you can see Blade of the Ring King, which went earlier on, and now that Infinity Edge. Meanwhile, Piglet, who's been off on his own for a while here, gone with that Trinity Force Last Whisper and the Hex Shrinker that both him and Faker stacked in quite early on.
And that's actually a pretty smart move there. They invested in some early magic just to make sure they didn't get bursted out. But there's the dive on the Faker, some good damage.
Full-man crescendo from Pumandu there. Managing to catch him out. Faker taking a lot of damage. That's a turret for a turret. TSM may keep pushing, but they have to deal with impact. He's just going to keep wrecking those turrets in the bottom lane.
And that was the issue we spoke about in the pregame, is no one is really good at dealing with Jax 1v1. It would have to be Reginald, but I don't even think Reggie would win that battle. Look how fast that's falling over.
Well, it's the most satisfying sound in the game of Jax beating on one of those turrets, and he does back him away. Piglet's going to defend off this top, so TSM, they tried to create an opportunity, but again, SK Telecom, they saw it coming.
Yeah, and now TSM are playing, I think, a little bit too afraid. A giant minion wave was stacked up in the top lane there, and Crescendo was down for SKT, and TSM said, let's just all retreat, let's not go to the top lane and punish that turret and use the minion wave. They're just going on full retreat, licking their wounds, and letting SKT dictate the pace now.
Reggie's gone up 1v1 with Impact, but I don't think he can do this. I don't think he can fight him, and he's not. He's backing away from this one. Imp is going to go all in, but the tower's already gone down. Tries to get away with it from the Living Shadow. Flashes out. Impact's not having any of it. He wrecks him. He just lost 900 hit points. That's all he lost that whole fight.
Yeah, and here's SKT with the rest of their team just happily controlling the Baron. Look at all the ward coverage on the map around them. They'll get this before TSM gets in range.
That's going to be the Baron going down. SK Telecom with a 4-man. Dyrus not going to get close enough. Impact, he is a machine right now. He came in as a substitute, replaced Hom for SK Telecom. Tell a lie, that's a lie. That's a lie, that's a lie. Impact's been there all the time. I'm talking about Ozone. Instead, he's taken him down, and he's just demolished that entire bottom lane. He's taken all 3 turrets in that one single push.
No one stopped him at all right here. The Cocoon on Faker won't mean much. TSM has to wait for Reginald. The problem is now TSM has to wait for way too much. They stopped trying to dictate the pace in the mid game. They froze up and stopped doing important things. They let the split push happen from SKT, and they let Baron control happen with the wards. Then they let Baron go down, and they still just didn't do anything. TSM stopped making moves, whereas SKT started turning it on, taking control of the map, and never looking back.
Black Cleaver on Faker. That has been completed. More importantly, Impact is just... Well, there's nothing that can stop him, honestly, because he's got that 4 mail now completed, so that means that Reginald and Wild Turtle don't want to get near him. Dyrus can't really do a great deal towards him either, because he's lacking in the ability power right now, because he had to go for that Zhonya's, and I am unsure how TSM are going to dig themselves out of this situation.
Well, I think the first thing that needs to happen is probably not the Aegis for the Magic Resist aura. I think getting the ability to have Odd One and Reginald just straight up kill Piglet would help, but here comes the fight.
Oh, Reginald went in for that one, made the call. It may not have been the right one because Mandu got the crescendo across. That's going to be Wild Turtle trying to get in there, but he does manage to get the kill on Faker. Backs away. It's a 2-on-2 so far, but it's special being focused by the AD support. He's going to use the cleanse. Dyrus after Zhonya's hourglass can't get on towards Piglet. He is going to have Requiem available in a moment, but I'm not too sure. Will it get anyone? No. Piglet's already life-stealed it back. And that was a 4-for-2 exchange, and it was TSM that went aggressive on a Baron up SK Telecom.
I think that was the only choice they could have made, though. It was a 5 versus 4. They saw Impact in the top lane and said go, but they said go 10 minutes too late. They had already given up so much of their base, so many kills, and the Baron, as you mentioned. SKT are just very far ahead right now. It shouldn't take much for them to close the game out.
No, you can see systematically removing every tower from the game. All 9 outer turrets down. And now, of course, the inner ones on the inhibitors starting to fall. 2 inhibitors already down for TSM. They are up against it. We've only seen this a very small handful of times in professional tournaments, a team come back from this situation. It is looking grim for TSM, and SK Telecom, they are looking to make it to the quarterfinals here.
And all that you want to look at now is how willing is SKT to dive. And in fact, they don't really have to dive. They can actually just walk in with a big super minion wave, and they'll probably win the team fight outright. all that TSM has to hope for is, well, look, we have waves of minions coming into our base, and the Karthus and Twitch. Those guys do scale very well. It's very likely too late, but that is just in the back of their minds as that 2% chance that these champions carry them. SKT just has to play a smart game where they rely on the super minions and go in with a wave, and it should be the same fights we've been seeing the whole time. SKT are in the lead. They just have to make sure they execute right from here.
They certainly have done so far, that's for sure. Everybody from SKT went back, purchased themselves a lot of items, because with that 11,000 gold lead comes with it a chunk of items. Impact got that QSS, so he's making sure he's not going to get locked up anymore either. Infinity Edge popping in for Piglet, so lots of damage across the board. Bloodthirster also picked up by Faker. And you see there, the timing, well, we are pretty much on it. 33 minutes and 25 seconds is the count. 33 minutes and 35 seconds, the average time for SK Telecom. 35 minutes for TSM. I believe we're going to be hitting one of those markers.
I believe it's going to be a little bit bad for TSM, though, as SKT moves on in. They've got everyone bought back up. Full health, full mana, no Baron buff, but that doesn't necessarily matter. And they look for the easiest place of ingress. There's no turret here at the top lane, and they can get basically 3 times as many super minions now flooding into the base with this inhibitor falling over. Here they go.
Here they go. Faker's going to be the focus. He is going to go down. The pop will come out. Reginald will pick that one up. Dyrus drops in the meantime. Piglet comes in around the side. He takes down Reginald. Requiem will come out. He's going to count on towards Impact, who gets cocooned up, locked up by the Tibbers, but is still going to survive. You can see he's just life stealing back off those minions, and that will be the 3rd inhibitor of the game for SK Telecom.
And there's no more spray and pray for Wild Turtle. This should be the game-winning push here for SKT.
Impact taking up, using that counter strike to defend all the attacks. He's going to go down. Wild Turtle will pick up that one. Bengi going in. He's got a bit deep. He's low on hit points. Oddworld might be able to get on towards him, get that damage down. The turret hit, not going to be enough. Special getting locked down. Piglet just wrecking now. Picks up the double. Can turn it into a triple. Yes, he will. And that will be the game for SK Telecom T1. The 3rd match of the day, and they go 2-0 for the day.
And if SKT can win one more game tomorrow, they guarantee themselves a spot in the quarterfinals. They'll be playing for the top 4 and on if they can keep winning. Very close game for the first 20 minutes, but from there, SKT just turned it up, made the moves, took control, fought the right battles.
22 minutes into that game, they were equal on gold, and every team, honestly, in this tournament will be looking at what happened there and thinking